Hey friends, welcome to another Cascade Crochet video. I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me today since I've already uploaded a video. However, I just had the idea of giving you the next step in the creative process because I'm currently going through the next step in the creative process, which I like to call So You Think You Have a Design. Okay, so what I'm currently working on is a skirt. So I've not worked on a skirt before, so this is an adventure in trial and error. And that's kind of what got me thinking that, everything that you do in the creative process of crochet is trial and error. And same with basically every other creative process. So you've got your idea. I'm just going to flick my screen over to you. So I thought, triangle wrap skirt. I'm like, or I could do like a rectangular one and sort of go along. And my idea is that I'll make it long enough to fit me, and then I'll decide on if I want to make it even longer to go as a wrap skirt. So for now, I'm working with the idea that it's going to be a fitted skirt, and probably just sort of fitted through the waist, the hips, and the upper thighs, and then sort of splash out like if you spin, your skirt's going to go crazy everywhere, like a big spectacle. So that's my idea. So what I've done in my creative process here is I've written out what I'm doing, and it's upside down because I'm still working on it. So I'm planning on working on this in 4 separate stages. I really love projects that you only need to, I guess, work on sort of like you can work backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, and that's how you create the project. So I'm not a huge fan of create this piece, put it to the side, create this piece and hope it matches exactly and put it to the side. I like my pieces just made in one big piece, and then you just sew it all down the middle, throw in some elastic, do whatever you need to do. So that's where I'm going with this one. So I'm now in the trial and error phase. I know with the shawls that I was working on, there's quite a lot of trial and error in. So you've got that idea in your mind. So I'll pull one of them down, and you can kind of see. So we've got these like rows upon rows of kind of solid, and then we've got fillet. I did say that I couldn't fill it. I haven't been able to fill it like a design, but I can use fillet as a design feature. So when I was working on these rows, the whole idea of getting the project to actually not quite sit flat but sit in a bit of an arc, that was a real challenge for me. So it took so many times of going, okay, we'll do a chain 3 and then 19 double crochet, and then we'll do a chain 3 and then 19 double crochet again, and then it's like, okay, then but does that then start to make it smaller? Does it make it too big? Like, do you get the ruffle when you want to stay flat? Do you get cupping? Which is all sort of a kind of a design nightmare. And not so much with the Parrots in Flight shawl, because I did use my eagle tail shawl as a little bit of a guideline, just because I had so much of a challenge actually getting that sort of arcing area to sit really nicely. You can see here like lines crossed out in red saying fix it for the pattern, check this, scribble that out, wrong count, wrong this, wrong that. So you can kind of see that even with my snowflake blanket, rows upon rows upon rows upon rows crossed out, that's because the whole process of thinking that you've got to design and starting designing are two very different things. Sometimes it really flows, and once you've got that flow, oh, it's beautiful. So with the Parrots in Flight shawl, this was very much a project where it just, like, it fell into line like so nicely. I think I've got it written down. See, like, hardly any scribbles on that page. You know, just a couple with different counts because I changed up sort of my arching area. So what I'm trying to get at is, you've got this really solid idea in your mind, or you might have a vague idea in your mind, but you've got that idea, and you know, the whole thing is a process of trial and error. And I just want to tell you not to get discouraged. Even if you're like me and you've got that pattern, and you know, you've got 2 rows of your blanket, one of which is a magic circle, and then you've got the next 4, 5, 6, 7 rows crossed out because it just doesn't work. What I want you to take away from that is that you've got the idea in your head for a reason. So, you know, persistence really pays off. And some days you'll literally look at it and you'll want to throw it across the other side of the room. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that the designing process is all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it can be. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it really can be. But other times you're going to do it and you're just going to be like, if I see like my rows written out, or I see this shawl again, or I see this top or this skirt or whatever I'm making, if I see it again, it'll be too soon. And that's okay. I actually have a cure for that for you, okay? So you know how my previous video I said, you know, design in a color that makes you come alive, something bright, something glittery. What I'm going to say to you is, have a sanity-saving project. So it's something that you know by heart. So something that you don't have to think about while you're creating it. So it could be a virus shawl, it could be a granny shawl, a starburst. I've currently got a starburst going as my sanity saver project. And, you know, have that on the side where you can just, you know, keep going, keep your mind sort of working, and your fingers working, and keep creating, but without having the stress of trying to design that specific part of the pattern that's, you know, just driving you bonkers. Because after a little while of your sanity saving project, you know, you could have that lightning bolt moment, or the next time you pick up your new design, you know, it's not quite as stressful because you've had that little bit of time out, that kind of, you know, turn off brain, just engage watching telly or whatever it is that you want to do. So yeah, the idea is, you know, have a little sanity saving project on the side, just to, you know, just to keep you happy. And I know that we're all guilty of having works in progress that never quite get completed. Probably in the last 6 months, I've set aside those as my sanity saving projects. So it also helps me get a real sense of fulfillment completing these projects. So it's like a double whammy of getting a break from designing, but also finishing something that I've had sitting there forever. So I will show you that starburst shawl when I eventually finish it. I feel like I'm going to be finishing that as I work on my skirt. So literally what I've got of my skirt right now is a very curly row of chain and then double crochet. So this part is basically, theoretically, going to be the part that sort of covers a little bit of elastic so that I can fold over at the top and then I'm going to have a pattern, some texture, to sort of like wrap around my, I guess, my midsection up to about mid-thigh. And then I've got a different plan for the rest of it. But I just want to say, now that you've got your idea, getting it started is honestly the hardest part. So getting those first stitches in, because you're not quite sure where it's going to go, where it's going to lead you. And honestly, I would say trust your gut. So if you think, oh, you know what would be really great right here? Shells. Or you know what would be really great right here? Waffle. Or you know what would be great here? Something else completely different. This weird, combination of different textures. Like, that's what's on my mind. And I think that once you learn to trust your gut, that's when you're going to have the most fun with your designing. Also, just lastly, giving a small shout out to Tragic Beautiful, who have provided my lipstick for today. So you can see this glorious deep purple. So it's Pretty Wise in the color Owl. Just in case you wanted to get some of your, highly recommend it. They're fantastic. Located right near us. So small Brisbane company, and they do all sorts of fantastic things. It's where I get all my shawl pins from. So give them a look up. Anyway, so now you've got your idea. Now it's time to get started. Don't get discouraged. Even if you have to frog your work 100 times and start again and again and again, don't get discouraged. You don't have a bad idea. You have a good idea. It's just taking the time to make it work. And you know what? You can make it work. I have faith in you. I have 100% faith in you. And I'm so looking forward to seeing what fantastic designs you come up with. Okay? All the best. Mwah. Lots of love. And yeah, leave me some love, some comments. Is there anything you would like me to change about this? I know my speaker's not fantastic. I'm using the onboard computer speaker, so mic, so I think I do have to get a better microphone, but I will work on that, I promise. All right, lots of love. Catch you later.